Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. 2025 is a big year in Virginia politics, and a new polling from DC News Now and Emerson College is giving us a first look at how close the race for governor in Virginia really is. Democratic candidate and former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is barely leading Lieutenant Governor and Republican Winsome Earl Sears 42 to 41%. 4% say that they support someone else, while 13% are undecided. And the poll shows that Earl Sears leading among a majority of male and white voters. Spanberger leads with women and both older and younger voters. And joining us now is Professor Larry Sabato. He's the founder and director of the Center for Politics at the University of Virginia. Professor, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Let's talk about this upcoming gubernatorial race in Virginia between current Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears and former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger. What are your thoughts about this race? Still plenty of time ahead.
Yes, obviously, there are only two races in the country, New Jersey and Virginia, at least for governor. So you can be sure you'll have tens of millions of dollars flowing into those two states, and Virginia certainly will get its share. And I think both sides will be well funded. How do they stack up? There's one variable that I would love to know in advance, and that variable is the popularity, the job approval number for President-elect Donald Trump, then President Trump by the fall, in November. Now, why does that matter so much? Because really in both states, but particularly in Virginia, there's a tradition of voting for the party of the non-White House incumbent. That is, the Republicans are in the White House, so people are inclined to vote Democratic for governor. There are lots of reasons why that's true, but the key variable is the incumbent White House occupant has to be unpopular. Now, we have no idea whether Donald Trump will be popular or unpopular a year from now. We can guess based on the first term, but you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. So if Trump is unpopular, then I would give the edge to Spanberger. If Trump maintains his popularity or increases it a bit in Virginia, since he's lost Virginia 3 times, then I would give the edge to Winsome Earl Sears.
Professor, this race will certainly not come down to name recognition, correct? Both candidates are well known.
They are both well known, particularly among the group of voters who'll show up. The turnout is much lower than in a presidential election, and the people who turn out are people who are interested in state-level politics. They follow it enough to know who the candidates are, or they feel very, very strongly about their party identification. So the turnout will be down, but I think it will still be substantial, and this should be a close competitive race.
You talk about being potentially a close competitive race. Can the candidates attract crossover voters, and what are voters in Virginia looking for?
Both of the candidates will tell you they have great appeal to the other party, and both are wrong. We live in a very partisan era. The 90% plus, maybe 95% of Republicans will vote for Winsome Earl Sears, and 90 to 95% of the Democrats will vote for Abigail Spanberger. It's that simple. It's really more a question of which party has a higher turnout. That's the more important question, not whether there's going to be a defection rate.
Right now, does either side have an advantage? Because you talked about several months from now, President Trump's performance could have an impact.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think it's impossible to declare a front runner. You don't know whether Trump is going to do things differently than he did in his first term when he was very unpopular in Virginia and elsewhere. He lost his reelection bid in 2020. Or will he improve on that performance? Has he learned some things from the first term? Will he structure the fall so that he's at a peak of popularity, at least in the 2 states that have gubernatorial contests? Well, we don't know, and we don't know whether his efforts would succeed.
Professor Larry Sabato, thank you very much for joining us.